Welcome back. Stream 1 is now about to bring you the last 16 of Players' Championship 2. And Stephen Bunting looking to go into the quarterfinals at the expense of Gian van Veen. And what's not to like about this fixture? Because this is a rematch of a recent Dutch Darts Masters match and a very recent also Grand Slam group game as well, which went the way of this young man from the Netherlands. It'll be very hard for Stephen to erase that game from his memory.
Stephen to throw
seeing his
for the
opponent
ball.
average north of 114. But for your darting pleasure, we've got this one
outside
on stream number 1. We've got Luke Littler against Wessel Nyman on board number 2 with Mark Wilson and Dan Dawson.
Outside.
And if you prefer your streamed action without commentary, we've got Danny Nuppert against Ross Smith on board 3 and Schindler versus Price on stream
25.
4. Within the next 30 minutes, now we're going to have our quarterfinalists for Players'
Bullseye.
Championship 2.
Stevens won
this
the ball.
one could be very good indeed.
Stephen to throw first.
It should. Two very good players squaring off for a place in the aforementioned quarterfinal.
97.
Stephen, of course, returning to the Premier League after 10 years away in Belfast on Thursday.
96.
Ultimately lost 6-4 to Rob Cross, but ran him close. Of course, won the Bahrain Darts Masters as well, didn't he, in January? First World Series event of 2025. But in these Players' Championship events last year, Stephen was
100.
Oh, yeah. Stephen's been very good for a very long time, but I think what he demonstrates now is that you have to manage the highs and the lows. He's become
134.
one of the most mentally strong players in the world. And he's now better than he's ever been.
41.
But wasn't it warming to know that when Bunting won in Bahrain, which has a bit of a ring to it, that one of his first statements was, "I really am chuffed to have this trophy."
140.
'Cause it really is a beauty, isn't it?
I wonder how he keeps it in his house, a big palm tree.
140.
But he's not going to be stacking things on top of it, that's for sure.
He'll be hanging things off of it. Coats, hats. He's hanging his hat on this.
Game shot.
We get us started, 87, to take the first leg of the last 16 game against Gian van Veen.
This section of the draw
58.
sees Bunting and Van Veen looking to get a win and progress to play Ryan Searle or Damon Heta. These guys know.
140.
Doesn't get easier. It gets more difficult. The head-to-head record is 5-3 to Bunting, and all of their meetings have
95.
been in the last 2 years.
Maximum
180.
from the bullet. 181 after 6 darts. I heard Stephen talking
92.
about how he's already thinking of a finish after he's thrown his first 3 darts of every leg. Straight away thinking of a finish. And that's a common thing, I know, amongst many dart players.
Didn't used to be.
33.
I think it's become a thing. It's easy to say that Littler is the cause of that. I don't agree. I think Michael van Gerwen had something to do about this, because when he used to leave 4-4-1 after 3 darts, he was thinking about, how do I leave 270? How do I leave a number after 6 where I can't go out? Speaking of going out,
120.
Bunting nearly does go out in 12. He's bossing the early stages of this one.
140.
Well, the bullet will be back for 28 to go 2-0 in the blink of an eye. Now it's 7-7. Well, he goes inside, so he can't wrap
score.
things up and decides to bust his score. So Gian with 56 remaining.
Game shot.
Job done. Door was ajar. Gian walked right through it. So 1 apiece.
Do you know what really impresses me?
180.
Aside that 180 start from Bunting, so he's already looking to leave a finish after 6 or 9 darts. But Stephen is the world number 5.
85.
He's won titles in the last 12 months. But I can't wrap my brain around something. We'll come back to it. Because what he's about to do is more important. We've seen people collecting 9-dot pins today.
99.
Christian Kist, Dimitri Vandenberg and Damon Heta. And Stephen Bunting is not going to be getting one just yet.
59.
Scoring performance from Bunting so far has been so good.
95.
Well, he took 67 on his throw for 1-0. He missed double 14 for 12 data, and Gian wrapped up for 1-1.
62.
Just misses out on a 12 data there on tops.
Got to move.
94.
Good use of the board. And the switch in rhythm. That's what you've got to do. 2 5s for Stephen.
Game shot.
Never really in doubt. Now, when I was rudely interrupted by Stephen when he was going for that 9-darter, as you can see, he's averaging 102.
140.
He's world number 5. He's won in Bahrain. He's back in the Premier League. He won the Masters in its previous guys last year.
100.
It's 1,317 days since he last won a ranked event. And he's still world number 5.
58.
That is quite simply ridiculous. His title haul as a PDC player,
100.
PDC World Masters, 2 Players' Championship events,
95.
and the Bahrain title in the last few weeks. What he wants to do this year is get titles.
100.
And he wants them to be ranked.
And he wants them to start today. That's what he wants.
Correct. He doesn't want us to talk about the fact that he hasn't won a ranked event
180.
for a very long time.
Maximum from Gian leaves him 28. Stephen can only set up here.
89. Game shot.
Van Veen can do what Bunting couldn't in leg 2. Sticking around like a bad smell. That game they had at the Grand Slam, though, 114 plus for Van Veen in that
100.
stupid group, which saw Wessel Nijman average 107 plus for the group and not win a match. I'm not sure we'll ever see that again.
140.
Talk of Wolverhampton, these two players actually
57.
last year visited Wolves football ground, Molineux, in tandem. They're decent pals off the hockey.
134.
Means nothing. Means nothing
Absolutely.
when you're going hammer and tong in the last 16.
Well, these two guys are impossibly friendly. Super smart.
140.
Love to play darts. But the first to offer guidance and insight into the game via interviews, social media.
100.
You've got 2 modern players in front of you right here. And Van Veen is chipping away at Bunting here.
100.
He finds this. It's a break of throw and a lead for the first time in the match.
119.
Bunting was not pleased with his approach shot to leave 104. But there's one way to fix it. He can't find it.
56.
So Gian can tidy up with double 4 to put him into the lead.
Game shot.
And he accepts the opportunity. GVV now leads 3-2 over Stephen Bunting, breaking the bullet in the process.
It's all part and parcel of the game, isn't it, when you're from the Netherlands? you're going to have an abbreviation of your name.
100.
Whether it's MVG, VVDV, DVD, RVB, you name it.
$140.
Speaking of a little bit silly, on stream 2 right now, Luke Littler is losing 3-2 to Wessel Nyman, averaging 105. The same kind of stuff that we saw from these two against Nyman at the Grand Slam is happening on board number 2.
Vessel was very impressive
60.
against Wesley Plazier earlier today. Say Luke Littler losing with a 105 average. Vessel posting almost 112 of his own.
140.
These young Dutch stars that we're seeing, like the World Youth Champion Van Veen, Nyman, and some others, they're a fine example of how the sport is moving forward, not just in the United Kingdom. It is Europe-wide.
100.
He just won't leave Bunting alone. The incessant scoring of Gian Van Veen is forcing Bunting to hit this. Look at the exasperation on his face. He's thinking, are you going to let me breathe at any point?
65.
He hit a 180 to set up the 1-2-1. Misses the 1-2-1. And Gian's back there for 76. Just relax.
Game shot.
Stephen has done very little wrong in this game. And he's 4-2 down. Look at that. 4 out of 5.
140.
Well, Stephen reached finals of these Players' Championship events last year. He lost to Cameron Menzies. Lost to Luke Humphreys.
96.
Lost to Chris Dobie. He's been the distance. Probably explaining why he hasn't got those ranking titles, but still finds himself in a lofty position.
Yeah, he was the number 2 seed for the Players' Championship finals in Minehead in November. And if he turned up to Players' Championship 30 because he decided not to at the last minute, if he'd outdone Chris Dobie on the last event, he would have been the number 1 seed.
140.
And he could have done so without winning a tournament, which has never been done before. But it just goes to show how much of a
95.
rankings vacuum he's become. And don't ever question his resilience. He's got it in abundance. If you look up a Stephen Bunting dictionary, you won't have the words never and give and up in it because they don't exist to him.
100.
Was watching Stephen closely
100.
this morning and yesterday. Not in a creepy way or anything like that. Just to make that clear. He went and found the quietest practice board he could find.
100.
Less distractions, more visits to the board, better practice.
A lot of people try and do that early on. They get here, and Peter Wright does this. Gets here first thing
180.
before many people are in the room, and he gets 20 minutes where nobody can bother him. And that 20 minutes is important.
180.
This game is going into overdrive, and I already thought it was.
Stephen hit his 6th 180 in the previous visit. Looking for a 7th? Not quite.
140.
Pumping one in of his own. Now has 1-2-1. Go within a leg. The place in the quarterfinal. What, he's
93.
narrowly missed it.
So when we saw Bunting miss double 14, Van Veen took something out. Stephen returned the favour.
57.
That could be the most crucial miss of the match, right there. And look how many darts they've thrown each. We're talking about a stratospheric game where one person gets a chance to break through in 4 visits. The fact that he doesn't could be critical.
Shot.
Outrageous stuff here in Wigan. Stephen Bunting in that last leg hit his 6th 180. He missed double for a
60.
12 data. He's been punished. Punished by Gian. Ruthless.
96.
It's no wonder so many people admire Van Veen. He's come back from dartitis. He's now World Youth Champion after losing the final to Littler 12 months earlier. He can come back from adversity.
100.
But after everything we said about Bunting, Van Veen hasn't won a title yet at this level. Why not today when he's playing like this? He can beat anybody here today when he's playing
180.
like this. And the strange thing is, you're wondering why the average isn't bigger.
134.
364 long days ago. Reached the semi-final in Players' Championship 1 here in Wigan last year.
105.
Lost to Ryan Searle, who ended up losing to Luke Littler in the final.
Well, this may be the end.
95.
After everything Stephen's done right, any tiny mistake that he's made has been compounded by this brilliant Dutch youngster. To finish with a 12.
100.
He sees how close that was. Now the brinksmanship of Bunting will now be tested to the nth degree. Can he find 112 to keep this match alive?
We know the bullet has guts. He's got fortitude. Needed to dig that
52.
little bit deeper. And Gian will return for double 10 to win the match.
And it's a
Game
match he
shot
wins.
And the match.
That was
Gian
a
van
fabulous
Veen.
contest. The tone was set in the very first couple of legs. It was an astonishing contest, and Bunting loses with 105.64. He has twice as many maximums, but the timing of Van Veen, especially on the finishing with 6 out of 10, it gets him a quarterfinal spot, and he's going to be up against a certain Ryan Searle or Damon Hettis. So it is Van Veen first through to the quarters. There'll be more coming your way on Stream 1 very soon.